All right, let's call the December 14th Maitland City Council meeting to order. We don't have anybody scheduled for an invocation tonight, so we're going to do one of my least favorite things, and that is to ask for a moment of silence, making sure that we all consider our first responders and our staff first, and that we all say a prayer for Keontae Johnson, Gator basketball player, who's in a medically induced coma and now back in Gainesville. Let's all bow our heads and share a moment of silence. Thank you very much. For those of you that are willing and able, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Now, would all please silence our electronic things? Don't want to hear them. Ms. Marie, looks like you've got some work to do. Dan, you want to get us cranked up?
Sure, thank you, Mayor and Council. This first item on the agenda is just a request by the applicant, Maitland Concourse North Lot 22, just to continue. The public hearing has been open for quite a while. They're asking for a 60-day continuance, and it's about as simple as that. I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant's here. If you have any questions for the applicant as well, but they're really asking for a 60-day continuance.
Nikki, you want to share anything with us?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Don't really have anything to share other than we appreciate your allowing us to extend 60 more days. It's been a rough road, as you know.
Yeah, it's only a year or so.
Well, not quite. It was in March, I believe.
Right, okay.
And, right after COVID started. And we appreciate further indulgence. We're getting close. We're making some progress, and we just appreciate the being allowed to go to February 8th. It gives us time to get rid of some moving parts, and then be ready to go. And I'd like to take this time to wish all of y'all Merry Christmas, or Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas.
Well, why don't we vote first, Nick?
You're right. I guess I should wait for the vote on the.
But I do appreciate I do appreciate the grace with which you offer that.
Well, okay. Well, then I'll reserve that until after the vote. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Boy, now that's a quid pro quo for you. Anybody have any questions of Mickey? We know what this is. We know that Mr. Grisham and the Foundry folks are no longer in the game. There's apparently a new player that, if I understand correctly, is under contract to buy and close on Lot 2. Is that correct, Mickey?
That is correct, Mayor.
And that allegedly there is an option for Lot 1 in the future, should things go well on Lot 2. Now, we presume without there being any changes that what we would be continuing would be exactly what we had addressed in Mr. Grisham's application for a grocery store of some sort and maybe some wing retail, whatever that might be, all on Lot 2. Am I going too far, too fast?
No, I think that's right.
Okay. So while that would that require a continuance? I'm trying to figure out what the advantage is into continuing that, as opposed to if there's anything new, any change whatsoever.
I think you finish your question, if you don't mind me doing it.
Sure.
It would be, as opposed to withdrawing it completely.
Right.
Which I think is a very good chance of that happening. Because the new folks that are looking at it are proceeding in such a way that it could be a minor amendment or a change of a plan that you will find way different than the Foundry plan.
In the Poloni plan, basically.
The Poloni plan.
Yes. Okay, so, and that.
That was the original approved plan. That's an approved PD.
That's a PD, right?
Right.
Was, so there, we could find ourselves going back through the process again with, you know, a TRG, DRC, P&Z, and back to council again, if there is any change.
Material change, if it's a minor amendment.
Right.
You're allowed to do in your code, I think it's 7.43 or 7.45 something. There are
5%.
a list of things you can do that are minor amendments.
Right.
And if that happens, and it's minor, doesn't trigger the comeback. What
Right.
triggered the comeback on Foundry was there was a footprint change. Y'all
Right.
remember there was the big user out front, and then there was the Fitness, LA Fitness had a stand
Yeah,
on
but
building.
lot one,
That-
right.
So it was clearly a not a minor amendment to the
Right.
planning plan.
So this particular buyer, at this moment in time, seems to only have interest in lot 2.
Now, there's a contract on lot 2, and we are very confident that there will be a closing on lot 2, and we are very confident that what will happen there will trigger keen interest by the same person with regard to lot 1.
Okay, that's where I was actually headed, Mickey, was that to see the dynamic of not just a lot 2 development, but some sort of, development for for ones at 1 and 2.
That is correct.
And I'm not gonna make a hotel part of the deal, but you get my point.
And you know Mr. Battaglia well enough to know he had a sufficient enough incentive built in it on the first closing to make the second closing look even better.
Yeah, there you go.
So Dale, well, actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Done with the questions?
Yeah, who knows if I'm finished, who knows? You go ahead, Mike.
No, you're done. I didn't want
Yeah,
to.
go ahead.
If anyone, I didn't have any questions for the applicant, so I had a question for you. So we're done with.
Oh, I'm done. Mickey, thank you.
Thank you.
Vance, Mike, any thoughts?
I got a vote.
So when it comes to changes, all the changes, it doesn't matter if it's a tree out there, that's still cumulatively part of the whole change, right? So if you change a little here, a little here, a little here, that's gonna count to the whole 5% of change. Would that be correct in saying, or do you give,
Well, Mickey-
for Dan, not for Mickey, I'm sorry, Mickey. No, I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry, sir, thank you.
So the code allows for a variety of changes, as long as from a substantial standpoint, it's 5% the general rule, and that's talking about 5% of square feet, 5% of things like that. The code also says that there's other things that can constitute a minor, as long as there's not an adverse impact to the overall intent of the development. So what the applicant is in for now is requesting a minor change determination from the Development Review Committee. That, if that does take place, then they would go through DRC, and it would be a DRC level approval. Speaking with the applicant today, the likelihood that that happens, they move forward with lot 2, and then come in and amend the PD for lot 1, because the lot 1 Colony plan just doesn't seem to be very developable. So they would come in, purchase lot 1, go through the PD process, and amend lot 1
Right.
to
And a PD amendment process, Vance, is a little more involved.
Right.
Lindsay, any questions? Anything jump out at you?
No.
I just think we're getting ahead of this discussion on the PD, I think is just getting ahead of it. I think
Oh, I'm
really,
with you, I'm with you.
To me, this is, do we give them the extension or not? And
Well, and that was my concern really, Mike, was that I was looking not for just a one-off lot 2 deal.
I hear you.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I think that, to me, and I hear your concern,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know if you said this directly, but this has gone on so long,
Oh,
are we
yeah.
doing a disservice by continuing it? But I don't know that we're doing any harm either. So I think in the interest of that being a net neutral, I'm inclined to give
Want
them
to grab that?
But that's just,
I guess, I'm a little, go ahead, Mike, I'm sorry.
I agree with Mike said. I mean, these are crazy times, and it's just, this doesn't do any harm. So I'm inclined to just grant it and move on.
Well, you can, my concern again was conceptually, Mike, make sure that we have not just a lot 2 one-off project. That's what I'm hoping to do, there's no guarantee of that, and Vicki can't guarantee that either. But the momentum that comes from lot 2 helps make lot 1 make some more sense. Right?
And I agree with you, Dale, and listen, I'll even go a little farther. Lot 4, you brought it up, the hotel. I mean, you knew years ago when was it, 2012? We knew that we were putting 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag in this project. There's just a lot going on in that lot, a lot of impact. And I knew there was some talk somewhere where, lot 4 could even be used as restaurant or something else. So I can conceptually see the whole thing coming together, and I'd hate to lose that big picture by piecemeal and stuff. And I know that we're just looking at extension, but the thing is, it's like, this started back in 2012, Poloni had it in 2015, that it was agreed upon, and it's been 5 years. It's just, there wasn't COVID in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Yeah.
So,
All right, any other questions, comments for Dan or for the applicant, or for the applicant? All right. Hearing none, anybody from the public like to address this specific agenda item? Not all at once. Okay, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council, and Ms. Maria, a roll call would be in order.
I'll make the motion first.
Oh, I guess we got
I was gonna do that.
I'll make the motion to move the public hearing to amend the Maitland Concourse North Plan Development set in action.
Thank you, Mike.
February 8th, 2021.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Did I get the rest of it right, Maria? Okay. Ms. Maria's on. Thank you.
Councilmember Guthrie,
Nay.
Councilmember Paul Harrison,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas,
Aye.
Councilmember Wild,
Aye.
Mayor McDonald.
Aye. Okay, go forth to prosper, Mickey.
There goes.
Merry Christmas, Mickey.
Now you got it.
Okay. Miss Maria's gonna read the title of our second public hearing tonight.
An ordinance of the City of Maitland, Florida, amending the sunset provision of the Charter Review Commission, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right. Ms. Sharon, fill in the blanks.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So we are requesting to extend the sunset date of the charter for an additional year, or whenever the report is delivered to you, whichever occurs first. I don't think the commission is going to need the entire year, but I don't want to pay for another ad if we have to come back with another ordinance. And they've gotten through the entire charter and are now going to go back through and then narrow down on what they want to focus on. So we've been through the whole charter. We've got questions we'll be sending to the attorney's office, a few more questions. They've drafted some language. So we're meeting once a month, so I think we're making good progress. But I don't want to shorten this and then have to do an ad again. If I think we're going to be done in June, and then they don't get done in June, we'd be doing another ordinance. So appreciate the additional time, and they've been working very diligently going through the charter.
I've actually attended a couple of them. They are moving right ahead when they do meet. Any other thoughts, questions? Hearing none. Motion to be in order.
Mayor, I move that we extend the sunset date of the Charter Review Commission. I guess for a year.
Oh, yeah, well, Sharon very astutely points out that I probably should ask somebody in the public if they would like to address this.
I don't think Mark
particular. Mike, you were rolling, hold the thought. Anybody from the public like to address this particular agenda item? Not knowing if Stacy's gonna jump up and, okay. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and the motion will be in order, Mike.
What I just said, or do I have to re-say it?
There you go.
Mayor, I move that we extend the sunset date Charter Review Commission for
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Maria?
Councilman Paul Harrison,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas,
Aye.
Councilmember Wild,
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie,
Aye.
Mayor McDonald.
Aye. Okay, Ms. City Manager, what have we been missing out on that you're going to report to us?
I do not have any old business tonight.
I didn't think you missed a thing. All right, consent agenda. Anybody wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I from the public like to address items 2 through 12. Now will be the time. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council, and Ms. Maria, if you would deal, we're looking for a motion again, aren't we? All right. Ms. Lindsay's aching to give us a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comment? Hearing none, Ms. Maria?
Councilmember Thomas,
Aye.
Councilmember Wild,
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie,
Aye.
Councilmember Paul Harrison,
Aye.
Mayor McDonald.
Aye. Okay, now comes the self-proclaimed legendary Maitland public period on which anybody can address any non-agenda item. Anyone like to step forward and take care of world peace or electoral college counts or anything that, yeah, sorry. That's the mayor trying to be cute. It's the uphill battle. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public period, bring it back to council. We've got a couple of decisions. Ms. Maria, you want to introduce the item?
Thank you. Currently, there's a vacancy on the BCA. The vacancy is to fill the unexpired term of Joseph Hegges, whose term expires on July 16, 2022. Mr. Hegges has resigned on November the 11th. Mr. Daniel Perdue is the alternate member and has expressed a desire to serve as the full member status on this board. The following applicant reflect this board as their first choice: Gregory Hardwick, Daniel Perdue. Second choice, Charles Nix. Third choice, Manuel Nunez, Larry Snapper, Irene Stover. Council is requested to make one appointment effective November the 11th, 2020 to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Hegges as the full member. And if it's the desire of the council to appoint Mr. Perdue, then an appointment to fill the alternate position would also be in order.
All righty, everybody on top of this one? Mr. Hegges is stepping aside. Mr. Perdue would like to take a more active role. I've spoken to Mr. Perdue, and I'd be more than happy to nominate him to fill that role permanently. Well, until his term expires.
Second.
We have a second. Looking for
Well,
order.
I'd like to, if I could, just take a minute to talk about Mr. Harwood. Is that okay?
Well, we're going to do him next.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought this was for this one. Okay.
Yeah. Is that a third?
Sure.
We have a third. Thank you, Dan. You better got work to do, bud. You'll enjoy it. Now we need to fill the alternate spot.
I'll nominate Hardwick.
That would be some time.
Second.
I've spoken to Mr. Harvick as well. So we have a second, a nomination and a second.
I'll be a third.
And Lindsay's doing the honors with the third, so we're good. Greg, you'll enjoy it. Thank you. Decision number 2, Ms. Sharon, you want to get us cranked up here? Jay?
Today's coming to the board.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. This item is just to finalize and formalize the comments were made in the December 1st workshop that was held with Council on Fort Maitland. For one, Council had reservations on the perpetuity clause that came with the Land and Water Conservation Grant, so we'll contact that office appropriately. And number 2, Council was okay with the idea of we're going to maintain our same boat parking spaces that are over there. And we're going to move forward with the improvements that were previously approved and discussed, including a playground, new restrooms, additional parking spaces for non-motorized watercraft, sidewalk access to Lake Maitland, picnic facilities, landscape improvements, boathouse conversion to the viewing deck, kayak paddleboard drop-off, and an additional curbing and other parking cars to keep people supposed to. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, guys, we've covered a good portion of this. Are there any questions or comments that we want to have before we go to the public? The lady just came in. This was the Fort Maitland Park, something that we had already met and discussed at some length in a mayor's workshop. But if there are any thoughts that you have on what the non-voted upon plans were, now would be the time. So, any other questions, comments?
You need a couple minutes?
I mean, I don't know, are you here for, don't mean to put you on the spot, but we do that, so.
That's all right.
Try to keep you from ever coming back again.
She is here for
Yes,
For the park.
I hope.
Oh, are you?
the right
For the
one.
park?
Yeah,
Tell you what, come on over here if you'd like to speak
okay.
and fill in the blanks for us and what your thoughts are. If you'd start off with your name and address, and that we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. I'm Julie Roach, and I live at 1204 Charming Street. I've been a longtime resident of Maitland and a small business owner in Maitland since 2011. And I teach stand-up paddleboard yoga. So I'm very interested in Fort Maitland and the renovations, and just kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in there before too many things are already put in place. Before the police boat dock was there, I used that exclusively. It is such a gem of the city of Winter Park. That park is just beautiful. And I noticed at that time that a lot of the acreage really wasn't being used. And I feel like, you know, some of the things that are going to be put in place, I just wanted to throw out there before it was too late and they've already been decided. So I did bring some pictures. I don't know if I could pass these down or...
If you would like, I think the 5 of us are pretty familiar with the parcel. With the
Well,
park
the
itself.
pictures that I want to show you are what the park used to look like.
Oh.
So
okay.
these are pictures when I started my business in 2011, 2012, and there was a beach there. And I also included some pictures that I took this evening. There's no longer a beach there. And it's very hazardous to even walk down to the water there. There's a big pylon, there's signs that are in the way, the boat dock is in the way. So some of the pictures that I have kind of put together can show you the before and after.
There's, I know we're not supposed to go back and forth, Joey, but we're looking at putting a beach down there. On
Beach?
or a launch area by that dock, which will no longer be a police boat dock, but a public viewing dock. It's going to be a flat deck so people can get out there and sit on the water and fish or do whatever, launch boards. And there's going to be a area where you can bring your paddle craft down to the water at that location. I'm a big paddle boarder, as is another member of council here, so we've been following this. So the goal here is very much to open this up for paddle craft.
That's wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot of competition when we go to put 11, 12-foot long boards or kayaks that are even longer than that, and we're taking up that roadway where the boats are trying to launch, and it's a little sticky situation. So one of the photos I show with my truck there is a really nice area where the hedges could be pulled out, and we could just have a little pull out, and then people could drop their equipment, get back in their car, and park in the,
I think you'll be happy with what they're doing, because they're doing something just like that.
great, that's wonderful. There is a little retention pond there, so that's one thing that I was concerned about.
All right, we're gonna look to fix that for you.
We'll talk about it, Mike. Thank you, Julie. Is there more questions? Appreciate your interest. It is clearly a fabulous piece of land that provides our only public access to the Winter Park chain, and that trying to find some way to utilize, the diversity of uses that can be, whether it's, view related, amenities for people to be able to see the lake, people to be able to get on their paddle boards, get on the kayaks, canoes, whatever Mike likes to get on, and and enjoy the place. At the same time, you're right, there's a lot of land there that finds itself being kind of functionally underutilized.
Absolutely.
And how do we best utilize that?
Yes.
With everyone being able to be safe and efficient and how they like to do that.
Yes,
So-
and just one more suggestion, I feel like that small little building, I'm not really sure what it is, maybe storage, but it could be a beautiful open space for people to come out and not
There's a thought.
necessarily, congregate, but if it were big enough, just like the Winter Park Avenue pavilion there, a lot of people use that for band concerts or Tai Chi classes, or, it could just be a bigger space and much better bathrooms.
Yeah, I understand. I feel like that you're on the right track, and we've discussed a lot of these options, and I'm sure we'll discuss them again.
Great, thank you very much.
Julie, thanks for showing up. That's how it works, is when people show up and share their opinions.
Great.
Anyone else in the public like to address this particular agenda item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council. Motion would be in order. Now, this is about the grant acceptance exclusively. Okay?
And the direction forward to formalize that path forward with those items, with those amenities.
I think,
Basically, the motion would be what you said.
I think this is gonna be a challenge. This is gonna be interesting as this develops, just because that's a big list. And I feel like
It is.
I feel like it's hard, because that park is trying to do a lot for a lot of different and potentially conflicting uses at times.
Yes.
So it's a challenge, and I think we all struggle with how to,
It can certainly be both a blessing and a curse.
yeah.
And so we want to try to utilize it as well as we can. I don't know that there have been any clearly defined determinations about what we may do with the park. But this particular item refers to the grant that's been offered to us by the state of Florida for a couple of $100,000 that comes with strings. Is that fair to say, Mike?
Yeah.
And we just decided not to bite on that, and that's what this motion, well, we're about to consider whether we're gonna bite or not.
Yeah, can I clarify? It's a little more than that. I just wanted to read the
Right.
move to continue with the previously approved list of improvements. So that's where Jay is referring to. Maybe all these things don't end up in the plan, but we want to give direction to the engineering firm that those amenities were looked at favorably.
Right.
So that's all we're trying to do, is confirm the kayak drop-off, parking deterrence, moving the bathrooms, all of those things that we talked about in the workshop. We're still gonna have to come forward with a plan
Right.
for you guys to look at. But we wanna make sure that what we heard in the workshop is, yeah, we're good with those things, so go forth and spend money designing it. Understanding that might not be the final part.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then also give direction. What we generally heard was the strings were too much for the grant, So we want to give official notice to the state, and since you officially accepted it, we needed to officially say we're not accepting it.
Thank you, but no thanks.
Yes.
And whether or not the same number of parking places remain exactly as they are is for future determination. But, anyone else, got the motion? Is that,
I think my motion,
took in
was
everything?
what Jay said, now, what Sharon said.
All right.
You got that for me?
Yeah, Maria, of course, got all that. And I'd be looking for a second. To whatever Mike and everybody else said.
I think I'm clear on that,
Okay. So we got a second and a motion and a second?
but I'll second.
I don't understand the motion.
Yeah, I'm a little, I think what you said is, and Lindsay, I'll clarify, I think what we're saying is, Mike is saying he's recommending approval of the motion with essentially direction to consider those bullet point things on the bottom of the list,
Yeah.
and to formally not accept the grant.
Are those one motion or two?
I think that's one motion.
You can make it in one motion. Basically, what we're trying to do is take what we put on the screen where we check the box and say we don't want to take the grant, but you didn't vote, so.
Yeah.
If you want to break it into two, that's fine too. You can make one, Mike made one motion. Basically, the one that's written on here, which is move to continue with the previously approved list of improvements for Fort Maitland Park and provide direction regarding the acceptance of Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. So we're just trying to confirm what we heard at the workshop.
I would prefer to break it into two motions,
Yeah, I agree.
given that the first, that refusing to accept the grant money is repudiating a prior decision by council. I think we should confirm that separately.
I agree with that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to.
Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent about that, that's fine.
Why would we do that?
Two motions is fine. Mike just made he just changed his motion.
Whatever it takes to, make a motion to reject the grant, and, then we can move on to the other.
So look, my issue with that is, if we're trying to make, I want to be blunt, if we're trying to make a statement as to making sure you're okay with the improvements but not accepting the grant, if we want to differentiate those votes, I don't know that that's super productive based on the workshop we had. But if that's what we want to do,
I just want to move it forward.
I think that there's an interest to say, we don't support not accepting the grant. If that's the case, then I feel like we're retrading on.
I don't support not accepting the grant. So if the motion goes forward, then I will be voting against the motion, which is not my complete position on how I feel about those amenities in the park.
I understood, and that's my
That
struggle.
makes sense, then, so dividing it up makes sense, because it,
Because we still want
Lindsay
to.
wants to vote against the motion on rejecting the grant, but then wants to vote for
Improvements.
the improvements, and that makes sense if we would break that in half. So I would amend my motion to reject the $200,000 state grant
Gracefully.
gracefully.
I'll second that.
You can leave off gracefully. All right, so we have a motion and a second on,
I hear you.
go ahead, Mike.
No, I hear your concern. These are these park decisions. It always kills me to not have it be a
Yeah.
clean vote, but I get it.
I understand.
I don't know. You and I weren't there, and so the vote to accept it versus not accept it is tough. And so I don't,
Yeah.
but I feel like we kind of we had this out and kind of felt like, hey, unity on the whole package was how we got here, and that's why I didn't want to separate it. But I think we got here with it all kind of intertwined and interlaced, and now we're sort of separating it, which makes it harder because we're saying, but I hear you.
There's a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, I'm an M&M's partner. Healthy snack. So, we have a motion separating the two with a second.
There is a,
Yeah,
no, there's a motion
Motion just to deny the grant.
just to deny the grant.
Right.
One motion and second.
So I guess we're having a vote.
Okay? I'm just chewing as fast as I can. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Maria?
Councilmember Guthrie,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall Harrison,
Nay.
Councilmember Thomas,
aye.
Councilmember Wild,
Aye.
Mayor McDonald.
Aye. Now, I'm glad the chair will be looking for another motion about providing direction.
Well, I'll try this. I will make a motion to provide direction to staff with the list of points that the city manager and Jay have both gone over, understanding that this is going to come back to us in the future.
Yes.
So, that'd be my motion.
Anybody want to second it before I do?
Sure.
Can I do that?
I'll say it.
Mike, you good?
I did it.
All right. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Any other thoughts about that, Lindsay? All right.
No.
Ms. Maria, if you would, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall Harrison,
Aye.
Councilman Thomas,
Aye.
Councilmember Wild,
Aye.
Councilman Guthrie,
Aye.
Mayor McDonald.
Aye. Okay. Discussion. We don't appear to have a lot of discussion items. Although I'd be kind of curious, Lindsay, you know, you're concerned about the grant. And is your concern about the grant regarding that, in theory, we're leaving $200,000 on the table? Or that, and again, I don't mean to ask the question.
No, I'm happy to answer because I think we went around in circles about this during the workshop, which is that that is a very specific piece of land that doesn't have a lot of options attached to it in the first place. So other than outdoor recreation, what the heck would we use it for? And so limiting ourselves to $200,000, which is potentially very needed in order to make the improvements that are going to be made, we're now asking the residents to fork out an additional $200,000 for those improvements. So when the land can't be turned into anything else because it is chartered land, so we can't sell it, we can't redevelop it, we can't turn it into anything else, I don't think that the strings attached to it of in perpetuity making it outdoor recreation available to the public really is hamstringing us too much, because what else were we going to do with it in the first place? So I think it's a move that potentially, as much as it seems like it's leaving us open to options, when we look at that parcel of land, what are our real options? Outdoor recreation seems to be the only thing we can do with it. So instead of accepting $200,000 to help us get where we want to be, we now have to put the whole bill for exactly the same thing we were going to do anyways.
I think one of the issues, and without rehashing this, but I guess we are, was that it was all members. I think that was one of the concerns that we were thinking it foreclosed us the opportunity, if there is a chance to have restricted parking, because I think one of the concerns we all have is the number of boats on the lake. We're trying to reduce that. How can we potentially help with that? How can we potentially make it easier for residents to park? I think that was one of the concerns. There were several, but I hear you. I mean, no one ever wants to turn down $200,000, but again.
I understand the point. That's what I was mentioning earlier, there were strings attached.
Yeah.
That as a group, we seem to be unwilling to grasp or to take advantage of in exchange for the money. And I get your point. $8 for every single resident of the city. Knowing me, I still love pickleball courts. So,
I mean, I was on the fence, and, you know, the whole thing that it kind of hit me with what Mr. Thomas said was, it really ties our hands for the future of other, councils that want to make something. I know if we wanted to say, we wanted to put a building in there for whatever comes in the future, then we got to go back through that whole process and beg the state, and then that'll, I think that's just making it difficult for future councils.
I can tell you that I think the park next door is looking great.
The what?
The park next door.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that'll be another discussion this evening.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to move it along.
I was just thinking it's a great park. It looks, the fountain looks great. It really is. That grass is very green.
I'm ready to name the thing Mike Wild,
Doesn't-
park
yeah.
right now.
It's not gonna happen, but it looks great.
Let's not go back to the naming, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of an M&M Jones. But, okay, we voted already, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Lindsay, I wanted to just kind of put some context to the discussion.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. City Manager, City Attorney, council members, anything you want to report to us tonight?
Just a reminder about Saturday, the park opening.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
And the party afterwards.
Yeah. And, it'll be a fabulous day. The park is looking, frankly, the square is looking better than what I would have even imagined. Even though it took us years, it's well worth the effort. And we're sending signals to our community, to our citizens and our friends and family that we mean business here. This is a great place to gather. That's something we have learned, from downtown, get down downtown stuff. This city is looking for any reason to get together.
It's a good anchor. It's gonna bring people in.
It's gonna, there will be other opportunities to do other anchors in our downtown that promote who we are, where we are, what we are. All right,
I have a discussion if it's okay. I guess a discussion and a question, because I didn't see my email until later today, and I guess the discussion would be that I wanted to talk about was, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's the discussion of notification of development on lakes. Is, if we develop on a lake, there's nobody for 500 feet, we don't send out notifications, so we're not paying anything. It's, as we would if we had that development in the middle of land and then we had to send notifications out. So my question is, could we have a discussion in the future on an agenda to see what we can do about setting up some kind of notification just for the homes along the lakeside?
well, I think that's a valid chat. We've all sat on P&Z, we've all been a part of that. And I think it's a legitimate concern. Maybe is that something that we might want to highlight for P&Z to consider?
Start.
Yeah, and that begin to kick that around, because obviously it's caused problems in Maitland, Concourse North. It's caused, consternation at the most recent PD application that we saw. So, it is a legitimate.
We got a lot of lakes.
Yeah. And it's a topic worthy of exploring. Again, we have done it in the past, and it gets to be a challenge. Okay, on Saturday the 19th, now 3 o'clock, we're gonna have a lot of fun. This is, plenty of people in the city that like to spout off that this would never happen. Well, it is. Okay? And it's the right thing for the right reasons. Okay, and we want to wish everyone this little, we had a great event last Friday where we had the mayors of Winter Park and Maitland and Eatonville and Councilman Guthrie gathered to ring the Salvation Army bell in Publix. It was very cool. We had a good time. And we did get some serious cash in the barrel. So, for everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Anything I can say that's not otherwise offensive?
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Yeah. I want everybody to share all the goodwill towards their fellow man possible. Given that, I think we're done. Anything else? Done.